Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Check 1 2 1 2.
Hello. Is this thing on?
Yo yo.
Oh, oh,
Check. One. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh yeah.
it's Monday, y'all.
That it is. There we go. It's like all systems go. Be a little check, buddy.
Hello. Me.
It's like the radio's up. Time to get rolling. Time to wake on up.
You get up.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. All right. I think we're ready. Here we go.
Yo.
Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
There we go. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Good morning to all y'all. Thanks for getting up so early with us on this. What is the date today?
Monday, deuce four.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh man, July just sliding on by, man.
Yeah.
In a big way. Yeah, Monday, July 24th, 2023. Shout out to the 6:30 listeners this morning. Let me know how the mix was if you're over there listening on the radio. Of course, you can always go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the listen button, and check out a celebration of black music 24/7, and also some shows, and of course us on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So definitely check that out. If you have Amazon Alexa, you can go and say, "Hey Alexa, play First Sky Omaha Radio," and get down right with us. So appreciate everybody who does that, and appreciate all of you. Good morning, Mark Manor said he been up. Well,
Okay.
man, how early do you get up in the morning, bro?
Yeah.
You on West Coast time, like Pops? What's going on, Pops? He says, good morning, Paul and Buddy and all the First Sky fam. Good morning to you, Pops. Appreciate you getting up so early this morning. Buddy is still in town, as you can see. So we figured out how to dial in the space a little bit better, and let us know how we sound and how things are looking over here. Appreciate your input on that.
Yeah. Our tech crew, as we like to call y'all. Many hats. Our co-host, tech crew, all that. So yeah, we appreciate y'all, man. Definitely a part of the fam. Leg coming in. Marvelous Monday to all. Marvelous Monday to you as well. Thanks for stopping through.
Yeah. How you doing over there, buddy? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good. Feeling rested. I'll be honest, around this time yesterday, wasn't quite sure how I was gonna feel come this Monday morning. Had a, kind of long weekend, man. As you know, took a road trip up to the Dakotas, went to North Dakota to drop my niece off. So that kind of threw off my sleeping schedule. But apparently I fell asleep at the right time yesterday, man. After our meeting yesterday, just kind of went home, watched a movie with Lil Mama, and next thing that I know, I'm waking up and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, okay. Well,
You got some Z's, man. That's what's
yeah. Some real Z's. So just went back to sleep, for a little bit, and was able to get up in the right time and feeling rejuvenated, feeling rested. So yeah, I'm feeling good.
good. I wish I could say the same. I definitely I was in pretty early. Got worn out I drove the Cadillac around yesterday, so
Mhm.
the sun kind of wore me out. When I came back to the house, I was like drifting away, but still was kind of up and down all night. I don't know what was going on. Could have been the thunderstorm
Yeah.
that happened. So I don't know if I think we're still under a storm alert here in Omaha until 9 o'clock. So
Huh.
might even be some hail around as well. So watch out for all that. take care, take cover, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we gonna do it. We here. Pop says it all sounds lovely. Appreciate that very much.
Yeah, man.
Bear Sanchez, Too Short, Tiny Desk is my favorite so far.
Okay. Okay.
I gotta say, Juvenile is my favorite Tiny Desk so far, bro.
Man, actually, I found the Instagram of the producer of Tiny Desk, the guy who's actually behind it, kind of the creative mind behind it. And yeah, seems like a pretty cool brother, man. I'm definitely interested to see what they do moving forward with the platform. It seems like that Juvenile show they kind of turned the corner. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, yeah, we can have some other types of artists on here. Definitely interesting. I'm pretty sure. I'm. I'll say I'm surprised. Jr. What you're saying about Too Short. You're not feeling the Cypress Hill one? You didn't see the Cypress Hill one?
Hey, bro, Cypress Hill got down the other day on.
Man.
So yeah,
Yeah.
they've been some good ones, but I think you're right. Like ever since like the Juvenile one, things have shifted a little bit. I was wondering if it was the same people running it. I was wondering about if it was the same people behind it because it's all. I mean, they always got some good guests.
Hmm.
As a matter of fact, I remember talking to Jocelyn. Jocelyn had tried to get a Tiny Desk concert. So there was some kind of process that artists have to go through in order to wind up on there. They have to have some kind of criteria or whatever. Yeah, I was gonna say Pops Anderson Pack was another one of my favorite
Yeah.
ones
Good
for
one.
sure. Uh, brother Sanchez says Too Short had a whole band. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing I like about that. So did Juvenile. Like you wouldn't expect the Juvenile to have a whole band playing with them. I love the horn section on the Cypress Hill, the Cypress Hill one. Like Tiny Desk
Hmm.
turned out to be dope, man. I really like all that stuff. But Juvenile surprised me because I didn't like Juvenile back in the day when them
Really?
songs was out. Did not was not about it, man. Was not about it. It was undeniable club bangers, of course. So when you're there, you're gonna get into it. But I just wasn't into it. I wasn't into it then.
99 in the 2000.
It's funny how stuff works on you over time because now I can't picture life without it. But back in the day, I was just like, nah. So I don't know. There was something exciting about seeing him perform live, perform with the band. They did something different with the crowd this time too. Like you know what I'm saying? And what was it? Who was it? Manny Fresh or somebody was in the crowd. Somebody from Cash Money and them,
Mm.
or that whole camp was in the crowd too, hyping it up. It was dope. It was dope. Mark Banner says getting creative with Tiny Desk is cool, but I hope they do emerging artists like they used to sometimes. Discovered lots of artists through there.
Hmm.
That's what I was gonna say, man. I was like, it's a far cry. So I didn't understand like the process. That's why I was talking to Jocelyn about it. Like, what's the process to be on Tiny Desk? Because she was trying to get on there because they were doing a lot more emerging artists.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're going this different direction, and it's cool. But yeah, I agree with Mark. I'd like to see more emerging people on there too. But yeah, man, Tiny Desk is pretty dope. We was trying to do that over at Mind and Soul for a little minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, over on the radio station. Maybe one day when we get a first Sky Omaha stage and studio, we'll do some of our own Tiny Desk live stream concerts.
Man.
Yeah. So
Yes.
anyway,
Always been in the works. Okay, JR also saying I love the Versus platform.
yeah,
Okay. Haven't
uh,
really heard as much fanfare surrounding that. Are they still doing those?
yeah, that's a good question. I don't know whose verse is coming up yet. I like verses, but I've been liking Tiny Desk better. I think verses. I don't know. There's a little bit. Verses a little unhinged. There's like no. It feels a little bit like they're not really bringing a show to verses to me. Like they're coming and just kind of doing their thing, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah. I would say the ones in New York seem a little more thought through and
yeah,
polished. Like if you call it like the KRS one, Big Daddy Kane one, that one was man my favorite.
yeah.
Of course, yeah. So it seems like the ones in New York were a little more thought through. There were a few that especially like the R&B ones, was like, kind of seemed like they just threw this together. You know what I mean? So yeah. I would say it was more of a moment. And the Tiny Desk is a kind of established
Yeah.
staple, if you will.
Marianne Williams gives us a good morning. She says, all nice. She says, good morning, all nice and cool outside in Lincoln this morning. Enjoyed a nice walk. That's
Okay. I did want to ask Mark Manor, did you get out in this rain this morning? You said you been up, did you?
he be walking rain, sleet, or snow.
man, like the mailman.
While we're on the subject of entertainment, we do have to make mention of the best movie of the year.
Man, I was,
They clone Tyrone, bro. Come on, man. Come on. So I know you guys heard about this. This opening, the Barbie movie and the Oppenheimer movie being uh, contributing to one of the biggest block box office weekends in a while. And everybody was going to it. There's a big thing on the internet about the Barbie Heimer or whatever it was called. Like they,
Mhm.
the movies were so different that they started grouping them together and making funny memes and stuff about it. It went really viral, and then we heard that the Barbie movie was like way better than everybody thought it was going to end up being. And then plus they did a whole bunch of stuff.
Mm.
Plus they did a whole bunch of fanfare. Even film streams had a Barbie um, premiere with the Barbie box that everybody took a picture in and all that stuff. So they kind of went all out for it and made a bunch of money. And I was just thinking, yeah, but there's a lot of us that didn't care nothing about the Barbie movie or the Oppenheimer movie. We was at home with this.
Man.
We was at home with this release this weekend. They Clone Tyrone is an instant classic in the vein of life. We're gonna be quoting this movie for the next 20 years.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I sat down and started watching. I was like, man, this movie's 2 hours long. I ain't gonna finish this whole movie, man. It was like in the middle of the night. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna finish this whole movie. Man, by the time it was over, I was like, man, run it back, run it back.
Bro. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Definitely highly, highly, highly encourage you to check that out.
Man,
Before we get too far into the day, though, I just want to make mention this is Monday, and now Monday is the Senator's Day. We're doing the legislative report on Mondays now, so we will be bringing in Senator Terrell McKinney and Senator Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names. They'll be here visiting us, talking about what's going on this break, and some of these things they want us to still pay attention to for things coming up for sure. Mark Manner says, "No, I'm going out in a minute. That was the plan, but the lightning kept you in this morning. Yeah, I heard that. Just be careful out there. I think we're under storm alert until 9 o'clock still." Juana Luz gives us a good morning. Also, Jr. Ignacio Sanchez says, "Fight week." Yeah, remember
yeah,
Crawford is fighting at the end of the week. Lots happening at the end of the week. We got to talk about the Haps like every show until Friday because it's
man.
going down. He says, so Brother Sanchez says, "Survival of the thickest." Yeah. What was that? What was that from? That's something that's out right now too. I think I saw a headline, didn't read it yet. Have to check it out. Mark Menace says I saw Barbie yesterday and it was not like one would expect. That's what I'm
Yeah,
hearing.
that's what I'm hearing.
I'm hearing this. It was
That's
it,
good.
Whitney Richardson said, "Good morning, y'all. Don't give it away. I'm still finishing it." Oh, we ain't gonna talk. We ain't gonna talk about it. But I'm just
Watch it.
saying, watch it.
Yeah, watch it.
Miss Erica Phil says, "Good morning. I like the movie. It did put me in mind of Can I Help You, an Oakland movie that also sci-fi with comedy and message about the prison industry. You talking about Boots Riley's movie? Um, what's the name of it?
Sorry to bother you.
Sorry to bother you. No, she said that. Can I help you? This is a different one. I don't know. I don't know about this one. I have to look that up. She said, "Did anyone watch I'm a Virgo? It's the truth too. I haven't watched it yet, man. That's the Boots Riley movie that's out on Amazon Prime. Um,
Is that the one about the like the 12-foot dude?
yeah, the giant dude.
Yeah, I was on the phone with somebody watching that, and they were pretty wrapped up into it, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I've heard good things. That looked pretty interesting as well.
Most def. Hey, brother Kasim is in the chat. He said, "Peace, fellas.
Peace.
What's going on with you, bro? We trying to get a hold of you, man. While Buddy's in town, we want to come out and holler at you real quick and go check out the grounds and all that good stuff. So get with us, man. Give us a call back, and we'll keep on trying to get with you before he gets out of town."
Mm-hmm.
Whitney Rich said, "Yes, it was layered through. It was layered though, y'all. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I mean, same with Tyrone. Same with they clone Tyrone, man. There's some themes that it had your mind going. It had my mind going.
To say the least, man. It's making comments on there that we talk about on this show all the time,
Man,
with us being able to say what we want to say. So it's very surprising to see a Hollywood movie, a movie on Netflix that's really going in on racism and everything else, man, in the way that they're doing it. So pretty amazing
man.
stuff. And as you can see, we're pretty hyped about it. We kind of talked about culture and entertainment this whole intro. But there's some good stuff out, man.
Oh yeah.
And not to mention all Mac everything. That's all I'm gonna say. All Mac.
Hey, shout out to the OG jelly bean, lima bean, yeah, lima bean.
It's 7:15 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're gonna fire this up, ladies and gentlemen. A fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you. Let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What up, what up, what up? First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, thanks for joining us on this Monday. It feels like a Monday to me too, but it is what it is. We're going to try to keep on going. Brother Kasim said, let's go today. Let's get it
Okay.
in. Get it
Okay.
in. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we really appreciate everybody that's joined us this morning. As we've been saying, we've changed up the schedule for First Sky Omaha in the morning now. The senators used to come on Fridays; they're going to start coming on Mondays now. So we anticipate a visit from Brother Senator Terrell McKinney and Brother Senator Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names and talk to them about what's going on. It's a constant fight, even though the session's not in right now. There's a lot coming up that they want us to pay attention to. So we're really ready to start talking to them about what's next steps, what's happening. There's still the 1024 situation going on, and we'll probably be hanging with them all through that until it's fruition, until people start receiving checks, so that we can keep up with them on what the process is and all that good stuff. But there's much more going on out there. Brother McKinney was on the Deuce just recently talking about prison reform to some folks. That's going to be a constant thing that he does, that he's talking about and trying to rile up a support for us. So there's a lot happening. We'll definitely talk to the senators, check in with them on what it is we need to be paying attention to. In the meantime, between time, buddy, what else we got on the roster today? What we talking about?
Man, got quite a few things. Of course, on Friday, Jakeen be singing, as we like to call him around here, dropped a bombshell. So again, continuing that conversation. Of course, we spoke to Brother Wells last week, and what was really going on at the Bryant Center. So that is out. We'll actually be continuing that conversation throughout this week. So definitely keep your eyes and ears.
Keep your eyes and ears open. We free. We in the same space, so give us a little break on the internet situation there.
Yeah.
We know we're freezing up a little bit. That's our bad.
Right, right. But thank you, Paul, for finishing the sentence. But yeah, definitely. Continuing that conversation. Also, I don't know if any of you have been seeing the work going on the side of the streets, especially in the 50th Hartman, Mount View area. But there is some fiber being laid. Of course, we talked a lot about the internet situation here on this show, and it seems like there's some money coming in. So yeah, a lot of conversation that to be had about internet. Of course, if you're in an area that has notoriously low speeds, this might be a time to speak up and have something done about that. So again, we'll talk about that. Also, kind of interested in seeing how Ellen Pillen is moving. May not be as Ellen as we thought. Again, kind of changing tones from Ricketts when it comes to rental assistance. And Nebraska is gearing up for more funds going towards rental assistance. So people still in need. So we'll definitely continue to talk about that. Affordable housing still a buzzword. There's still studies, there's still things going out, so still a conversation. So we'll definitely dive into that. Also, other conversations being had, although the legislators are not in session. There's still studies, Paul, your favorite word, going out, and there's one study in particular that we're being tipped off to that we should look out for. Is looking at education and social emotional learning, or SEL, as it relates to education. So there's some things we need to look into with that. So yeah, again, of course, there's a lot to talk about. But if there's something that we're not talking about or that we haven't, put on our headlines that you feel like we should be talking about, feel free to drop that in the chat. As always, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. This is a community roundtable. We're here to talk about it with y'all. So again, join the conversation. Big shout out to all the chat chimers and the ghost listeners. We appreciate y'all all the same.
That's right, and we also appreciate the radio listeners. Thanks for joining in on the 6:30 crew. Let us know how the mix was this morning as well, and we'll keep those mixes going for you every morning for sure. Also, there's lots going on coming up this weekend. Of course, we got Native Omaha Days and all these things happening. So we'll keep on having an extensive haps in order for you to be able to be hip to some of the things that's going on. And we did find that graphic that shows everything that's happening for Native Omaha Days. I'm gonna just flash it here.
Man,
Don't even try to read it. It's just the type is too small. We'll put it on the screen and zoom in on some things when we talk about it a little later on the haps. But this is all the haps happening. It looks like from July 24th to July 30th.
that's today.
July 31st. Yeah. So yeah, things festivities start today in a lot of ways too. So lots going on. we'll come back to that at the end of the show, of course. And we'll be definitely talking about what's happening for Native Omaha Days and trying to see what you got going on. We definitely want to hear the stuff that you're planning on checking out and hitting as well. So appreciate that very much. Mr. Erkenfeld says, woman, with Nebraska COVID guidelines removed for Medicaid qualification, it used to be 11% of applicants earned too much, but now it's 25%. In Nebraska, Medicaid expansion still leaves people too poor for the marketplace, but earning too much for Nebraska Medicaid.
Man,
We're back with that problem again. I thought that was taken care of. Thanks for the update on that. We'll have to look into it. Man, always leaving the gap happening. What
man.
what were they calling it the other day?
Yeah, yeah. I was just thinking about that. We had a conversation with a community partner who kind of hipped us to a term, the cliff effect is what she referred to. So yeah, yeah. Shout out to Amy H. No dot for that. I definitely enjoyed our conversation, and yeah, looking forward. There's apparently some work and some advocacy I could say that should could be going towards those faced with that type of situation. Yep, Amy, Amy in the chat, big shout out again. The cliff effect. That's like the third time that's come up in conversations since we talked about that, especially dealing with healthcare. A lot of people kind of left in limbo when it comes to government assistance or being able to make enough to just afford it themselves. So yeah, very interesting. A conundrum, if you will.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming on in, Amy H. Dot. We had a great talk with you the other day. We've been trying to get around to everybody that are we consider partners and people that we want to work with and do things with. I'm kind of collecting photos here and there, and I missed when we met with John Heaston yesterday, and I
Man,
forgot to get the photo, but I'll get it again. We got such a deep conversation with him about it. First thing he was like, y'all want the reader? I was like, I wish we could.
man.
I wish we could. But great talk with him as well. We'll continue to talk. We'll tell you about some of the things that we talked about with him and other partners too. We're not done. We're gonna be meeting with folks all week long. So if we haven't met with you yet, don't worry. We're gonna get with you very soon. In the meantime, between time before the senators come in, where you want to jump to first, buddy?
Well, let's just kind of tee it up with the internet. Something we're dealing with right now, and a lot of people, especially those who are looking to go into small business, especially along the 24th Street. That was actually one thing that did come up during our conversation with Amy, as far as just the internet, what's going on 24th. And looks like things may be improving. Again, there are funds coming to the state to the tune of $405 million. And I don't know if any of you have been paying attention, especially in the North 60th, 50th areas, but there has already been work done towards this. A lot of companies have actually handed out material. I was just sitting in my mom's front yard enjoying the sun when I received a pamphlet about fiber coming to the area. Again, fiber internet it allows is the infrastructure as
Uh,
we
allows for faster speed. Sorry, go ahead.
again, as we get into this era of AI and more tech, especially when it comes to running a business, and you need tech, you need internet when running a business. And again, for those in North Omaha, they may be definitely affected by that. But again, if you are in an area that notoriously has slow speeds, this is a perfect time to speak up. The state broadband office, which I didn't even really know we had a broadband office, but the state officials want to verify the accuracy of their statewide broadband coverage map before awarding $405 million in federal grants to bring fast broadband or wireless internet to underserved areas. Right now, they're looking at a total of 70,000 areas in Nebraska who have bad internet or are unserved businesses, commercial buildings, apartments, houses, or other structures. And apparently, there could be more than that. So it could be even higher than that 70,000 mark. There was a listening session last week by Patrick Redmond, who's the deputy director of the state's broadband office. And he says he doesn't want to learn of gaps in coverage after the money is awarded. So again, this is the perfect time to speak up. That we go through this challenge. This important uh,
Hold on, buddy. You stuck.
to make our
All right, what was the quote? What did he say?
Okay, this is the reason that it is important again is to make sure maps are accurate. Again, $405 million is coming into the state, but where does it go? They definitely want to make sure it's all going to the right places, which is not always the case when we see hundreds of millions of dollars coming into the state.
Brother William King is in the chat, man. 95.7 The Boss. He said he was in the building. So, and I'm sure he was. He's a dude that's been dealing with broadband and expanding in broadband for North Omaha and for this res and all over the place. So, I really appreciate that you were there, man, to see what was going on. Love to hear your perspective on that meeting and what's going on. Lots of money coming in, and what we notice is a lot of these little side companies are cashing in on the fact that Biden got this some of this money coming in, and all of a sudden now you're seeing people, businesses pop up and people pop up. It's a good thing, I think, though, for especially from the north side where everybody, I just got a text with somebody saying, yeah, it's messed up in this area big time. So we still have some needs as far as broadband is concerned, especially in North Omaha, and it looks like they're going to get taken care of one way or another. Uh,
Man,
I don't know how many people, I would refer to William King when I'm talking about whether or not any of us is going to be able to cash in on the internet gold rush that's happening right now. But it seems to me like it's a bunch of independent businesses that are already set up. They already have their infrastructure set up to do this kind of work, and so they're jumping in on this money and trying to get it done. Like I say, ultimately, it'll be good for North Omaha because we need it, but at the same time, it's too bad, that we don't have more infrastructure on our own to be able to get those funds and do something about shoring up where we need to be at. But the people that are putting this together are saying we don't want to see no more gaps, no more gaps. After this money comes out and stuff starts happening, you really stuck right there. I know you're reading something that's got you popping up everywhere, but you're pretty stuck. William King says new window for radio stations across the land just got back from DC. Okay, it's time to talk about some more radio with Brother King. He goes to DC and lobbies for us. He's the main reason why we have some of these the low power stations and hopefully coming up some high power stations as well. He's always on the forefront of that. So we appreciate you very much, Brother King, for that. Hopefully we get back into radio one day ourselves. So
man,
that's what's up. Wanda Lewis says they've completed their fiber optic cable installation in Northeast Omaha to include the Miller Park, Minnelusa, and Florence areas.
yep,
That's good. What we had Carol Blood, Senator Carol Blood, on, put some respect on her name, a few seasons ago, and she kind of hipped us to the fact that there's a lot of fiber that's already laid in our neighborhoods. The infrastructure has been there; they just haven't turned things on because of Cox and the competition and so on and so forth. But it's good to hear that they are laying more cable, more optic, especially optic. We need that fiber. Fiber is the key there. So, a lot of these lower band internet companies are trying to act like they have high speed. Nothing is as high speed as fiber is
yep,
optical. So if we don't have that, then we're not hitting the speeds really that we need to hit. We've made decisions on I made a decision on where I live and where we work and everything else in order to have the high enough speed to be able to not glitch out so bad when we're doing the show here. But there's certain parts of the city that just didn't have it.
yep,
So that's what it is. Wanaloo says still waiting on Google to come through as well. We need these options. Yeah, I believe it. Oh, Brother King said a new window for. Oh, we already talked about that. He said she's right. So fiber rich diets and technology. Miss Erica Feld is saying we definitely need it. I don't. When we talk about this, they especially older people, are used to slow internet speeds,
dial up,
dial up. I mean, we had to deal with dial up, bro. So that'll just tell you something right there. Like
man.
I can't even tell you. We don't. There's nothing to even compare it to now. Maybe how much you glitching out right now, but other than that, it's hard to explain. But we're in a different era where everything now you buy your groceries online, you do job interviews online. Some people work online. The work from home situation. The pandemic really showed us how far behind we are in a lot of things, man. Especially when the kids had to go home and OPS had to pay for internet sometimes and stuff in order for the kids to be able to go to school online.
Mhm.
Yeah, it really showed us like how far behind we are than we are in certain areas. Sometimes I have friends come over here and they see my speeds up at 900. I got speeds of 900 where everybody else has got speeds of 30 and 15. I had speed my speed, my top speed was 30 when I was living on Spalding, and now it's 900 now that I'm living over here in Benson. So like that's the difference in speeds. You might not understand speeds, but just understand that I was at 30, now I'm at 980 like every day. So
Quite the gap.
quite the gap. And sitting here at 980, we're still glitching out a little bit. So imagine if we were trying to run it off of well, when we first started the show, we were running all in Spalding, and it was horrible, horrible, horrible. You could barely watch the show. Watch the first and second episode of the show on Facebook, and you'll see what we're talking about. But that's what it is. She says, Miss America Pest says isolated people count on internet for friendships. Even
Mm.
you count on it for that's life now.
Yeah.
Your banking's done on internet. Your shopping's done. Your entertainment watching is done. Your Netflix is on. Everything is on the internet. And if we don't have high enough speeds, then we're kind of left out of the whole situation.
Left in the dark ages, literally.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. We heard this money was coming, we're already starting to see construction and stuff being done. Brother King is giving us an update there. He said he was there and he's hearing was coming next. Love to hear from you about what else you guys talked about there. But yeah, we definitely need to kind of keep an eye on that and make sure that these pockets of places in North Omaha get it too. Nobody should be left out after this hundreds of millions of dollars in this infrastructure here. So everywhere else that's newer than us already has this high speed internet laid. So they need to retrofit what's going on here in North and South Omaha, and that's what we're worried about.
Man. And also was sticking out to me in this is the fact that, what Senator Wayne said, as far as there's money out there. There's a bunch of opportunities out there, but are we creating the businesses? Are we in the areas? Are we in the position to get this money? I mean, this act, this is from the broadband act. This is back from 2021. This has been 2 years that this act and this money has been allotted and people have been preparing. So we're going to see a bunch of companies that we have never heard of pop up in the market, but that's because they've been watching, they've been preparing. Who in our community, aside from Brother King, like kudos to Brother King, but
More,
let's right, we need more than one. Let's have. He's only one man. You know what I mean? Like, what real efforts are we doing in the community? What are we really paying attention to in the community? And how can we more oftenly um, take advantage of these types of opportunities?
most deaf. Appreciate everybody who is commenting on this one. Miss Erica Fell says, I will never forget not being able to pay Black Dynamite for his art when at the Culture House due to no internet or cell data access.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the example I think of when we have these conversations, as far as not being able to use a swipe or use or Stripe or Clover or whatever POS systems that these merchants might be using. You need internet for that stuff. You can't get a receipt. I mean, there's a lot of things that can't happen without the internet. So yeah, hopefully this helps, especially with the money coming in for these businesses. If the infrastructure isn't there, that could make or break the success of that business. So
Let us know. Does your business rely on high speed internet? How does that work for you? What aspects of your life does having it or not having it affect? Love to hear from you guys in the chat on that. Ghost listeners too. Let us know. We'd love to hear that. So appreciate everybody that's joined us in on joined in on this conversation about this. We'll be keeping track of that money, following the money, and hopefully making sure that we'll do our best at trying to make sure that we keep an eye on that. Are there pockets around North Omaha that's not going to get this infrastructure? We'll see. And I'd love to continue the conversation with Brother King too on this too. He's the expert in the room on this one, so we'll definitely talk to him coming up. 7:35 right now. We got about 10 minutes before the senators come on. If you believe in the concept of time, and if they do, then they'll be on in 10 minutes. If not, they'll be on when they be on. In the meantime, between time, buddy, you gotta what's next on the agenda? Let's jump into another story real quick if you don't
yeah,
mind.
let's keep it moving. More money coming to the state from the feds.
More money, more money, more
Oh,
money.
money mo. Yes. And this time the governor is not sending it back. Governor Jim Pillen has officially accepted the $48.2 million in federal emergency rental assistance. Again, that former Governor Pete Ricketts refused to take. Now, Shannon Harner, who is the executive director of the Nebraska Investment Financing Authority, said the state housing agency is gearing up to start taking applications for aid by September. So definitely look out if you're in need of that aid for that application window to open. The money will be available to help renters in all but Douglas and Lancaster counties. As she said, those counties plus Omaha and Lincoln got their own share of aid directly from the federal government last year. People in Nebraska's 91 other counties had been left to go without the help, which represented the second round of emergency rental assistance offered to the state. Again, Ricketts repeatedly refused to take the money, vetoing, a bill that would have required him to do so. He argued that COVID-19 emergency was over and the state's strong economy did not warrant accepting federal aid. However, due to some tax bills and some spending from the state, I'm hearing from senators that we could be going bankrupt in a couple years as far as the state's economy. So any assistance can definitely go a long way. And I'm sure, although the COVID-19 emergency in some respects is over, people still need help.
Yeah, most def. I like how Mark Manner's saying he's still illin though. We were just we were just talking about that this morning. Yeah, he's illin, but so far his track record is that he's not illin as much as Ricketts was. So at the very least he's able to. He's been in talks with the senators. We've been talking to them directly, and they're saying they were able to speak to him directly. He's been listening to them and their concerns. Here he is now accepting some rental assistance money that Pete Ricketts turned down. There's a surplus in the bank account with that before. Somewhere close to $1 million. There was like $1 million in the bank before. Ricketts was like, "Well, we already got some in the bank. We haven't even spent that." But here's Pillen, who's accepting some more money, and hopefully some people will get some actual rental assistance there with that. So like I said, he may still be ill and Pillen, but we're looking at each individual case and seeing where he's going on it. There's a whole lot of stuff I don't agree with, of course, still, but right now I can say he's not ill as much as Ricketts was. So
Yeah, it's definitely a different tune. In this article, he's quoted saying, fundamentally, I'm a believer that if there are federal funds that are available with limited strings attached, that's a responsibility as your governor to get more than our fair share of that. He also added that he thought the rental funds were a quote unquote great investment for our state. He emphasized that the money should go to help people who are working and be provided as a hand up, not a hand out. So, again, may not agree with everything, but man, I can't disagree with that.
well, we'll try to follow the money and see if it actually gets to people that actually help some folks. So because all the talking both of them were doing is about getting government funds, and that's the main gist of their argument is either you should go get them or you shouldn't go get them, and it's almost like they're not even saying much about the people that they're gonna help with it. But at least Pillen said what he said there at the end. So we'll see. Like I said, we just have to wait and see if anybody's getting helped.
Yeah, we'll follow the money and see if he stands on what he says. Sounds good though.
Mark said he's still ill though. Miss Erica Fell says once Pillen came into office, he released COVID PPE funds for child care in schools that Ricketts sat on. Okay, another instance of him accepting some money that Ricketts sat on. He said, I believe trying to divert them. I now have 4K air purifiers in my program.
Okay,
Somebody who's directly benefiting from a Pillen action. So, like I said, he may still be illing, but he ain't illing as hard as Ricketts was illing, sitting on funds that people needed to upgrade and do things. I mean, come on, man.
man,
just he was just like hoarding. I don't know. I don't know what Ricketts was doing and what he's doing now. Because remember, he's state senator Ricketts now,
man, yeah, yeah,
still in our life, some kind of way, doing things. But yeah, so it's really interesting to like keep track. I made the prediction when Pillen got elected that Pillen was going to be worse than Ricketts. Yeah, I've been wrong about that so far. I don't mind being wrong. I hope I'm even more wrong in the future. I hope he does some more good around here. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Marianne Williams, though, is reminding us Pillen supports anti-CRT legislation. So yeah, he still be illing.
Well, we'll get into that because Pillen did and has been chiming up about some education things again.
$1 billion education plan.
Thank you. Again, $1 billion education plan that he has set aside and has been very vocal about his stance on certain education topics. So we'll definitely get into the study that's coming up and we'll see how that impacts CRT. Speaking of that, but before we moved past this, I did want to reiterate and remind people again as we look to follow the money for this rental assistance. It has already been designated for certain areas. Again, Douglas and Lancaster County will not be receiving these funds, and also Omaha and Lincoln, who again have already received their own direct allotment from the federal government. So again, keep that in mind.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, he's still illing. He's still illing.
Again, that goes out to all the other 91 counties in the state of Nebraska.
All right. That's what's up. Yep, Miss Erica says he's still anti-complete education. Yeah. Very true. Very true. Got a lot of money, and I will say that too. A lot of times when we're hearing about all the money that he's getting, a lot of that money be going elsewhere for sure. So other people need help too. You know, yeah, that's what's up. I think that we can probably still. So I haven't really heard any like new reports or anything out there about how many people still need rental assistance. I ran into Dave Pontos one time and kind of he was like, "No, I'm still, I'm still doing the work." Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of people that still need that. I wonder what kind of hoops you got to jump through for them now. Well, who knows? You guys are back on education. Says Marianne Williams says was just reading some tweets by Education Committee Chair staffer that they believe SEL is code for CRT. Wow, buddy, you was just talking about SEL a second ago.
Yeah, yeah. Again, this is something that's been put out, and maybe we can get into it more when the senators come on. Senator McKinney has posted this. I believe Precious McKesson has also shared this post. Some concerns. Some people are looking out for and calling for others to look out and even make comments on Legislative Resolution 149, which is the call for a study on. It says the purpose of this resolution is to propose an interim study related to social emotional learning. The study will include core concepts of social emotional learning, or SEL, and how school personnel in the state will utilize SEL and how this relates to teaching topics such as race, racism, sexual education, and mental health. All four topics that have been heavily, heavily discussed in regards to education over the last few years.
Man, what's wrong with these folks, man?
Yeah. So
We don't need. So we don't need. I can't even. We don't need social emotional learning in school. Kids don't need to learn how to control their emotions.
is that a question?
Not really. I don't know, man. I'm just like
Well, let's break it down. Let's get into it.
I would like to see what I would like to understand where I would if I want to see what they want their kids to learn. Like what is it that like what is it exactly they want their kids to learn? What if they could pull their kids out of school, put them in a school that's teaching all the stuff they want them to know, and not teaching the stuff they don't want them to know? What would that look like? Like what it's almost like they're shooting their own selves in the foot. Like, why would you want your kids to be dumber? What do you want kids to? I don't understand it.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me step it back a little bit. I'm gonna ask you some questions about why you're going down this path and saying what you're saying and feeling how you might be feeling.
Well, let's. Can you hold that and let's bring that back because I want to bring my man in. I don't want them out there waiting too
Oh
long.
yeah, if they waiting in the wings, bring them in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold your questions for me though.
Yeah,
We got
yeah, 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 yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to bring in Brother Senator Terrell McKinney. Put some respect on his name. He is waiting in the wings. It's time for legislative report. Good morning. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
All
Doing
right,
good,
all
man.
right. Good seeing you again, bro.
Good to see y'all too.
Yes,
Welcome
sir.
back. Welcome back. Welcome back from the break. Did you miss us while we was gone, man? What did you do for news? I mean, you just was in the dark for like the last month, right?
Yeah.
Tell the truth. Nah, man, you're in the forefront of everything that's happening right now. You just had a talk with some brothers the other day about prison reform. I heard. I missed it. You was on the deuce.
Yeah, I had uh, it was with it was at the Great Plains Black History Museum. The Douglas County Democratic Party invited me to talk to some volunteers about, stuff around criminal justice reform. And it was a good conversation.
Yeah, you feel like they understood where you're coming from and all that.
I think so. I feel like they did.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of sat in on the conversation. I definitely feel like Senator McKinney, expressed himself and articulated the stance and the issues very well. So, very, very interesting conversation, and was glad to be able to, witness it. I'll say.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you out here still doing the work. How you been, just personally, in this last? I mean, I know we've talked since the break, but let everybody in the chat know because they ain't seen you since last month. How you been?
I've been cool, man. Just trying to decompress from the. I'm trying to decompress from the session, trying to take some time for myself, and catch up on some things at home, and just try to relax as much as possible. It's
Yeah.
always work to do, but and I was out of town a few times, a bunch for some conferences and things like that. So I've been all right, just trying to get through it.
Okay. I've been hearing people say that. I've been hearing people say that the next session is is going to be just as contentious as the last. Sorry about this. Hold on. I got a little short going on here. They said they're anticipating the next session is going to be just as wild. You feel that?
I mean, it's an election year next year. We still got the same people coming back. They're probably going to introduce some more stuff that's going to ignite some fires on whichever side. So I don't know. We'll see. I know some people trying to work behind the scenes to try to mend relationships. I don't know how well that's going to go. But I'm if it was anything like last year, I mean, went through it once. I mean, I don't want to, but life is hard. Work is hard. So I mean, you just got to get through it.
Yeah. At least you know what to halfway expect this time. This time
Right.
around.
Right, and
Yeah.
I will say, something you mentioned, when you were at the Deuce, speaking with the volunteers, as far as the need for conversations and having difficult conversations with each other. So yeah, it's hard, but somebody has to do it, and we have to have those difficult conversations if we're going to come to some kind of common ground, find some kind of ground to walk on and build upon. So I definitely appreciate that sentiment and your willingness to have those hard conversations and kind of be in the trenches, in the mix of those ideological differences to really get something done.
Oh, for sure, man. I'm never afraid to have a conversation to talk about a topic. I think sometimes people think politicians or people in my position try to shy away from different topics or issues, and I talk about it. I mean, regardless if you agree with me or not, I'll try to give you my best answer of why I did something or why I feel the way I feel, and let's have that conversation. Just because you disagree with me don't mean I hate you.
There you go. There you go.
Love that. Well, let's jump right in, man. You posted something recently about a study that we need to be paying attention to. Buddy was just talking about it, teeing it up before you got on. You want to jump into that, Buddy?
Yeah, yeah. There's actually a lot going on with education. Of course, we know that this petition has been going around as far as school choice. But now we're seeing this legislative resolution 149, which is calling for a study into SEL, social emotional learning. Again, can you kind of give us more context about this and maybe some opportunities for comment?
I mean, it's an interim study to look at social emotional learning. They're going to look at race as one of them, and I think sexuality or something else. Uh, this is the time I wish I was on the education committee still, so I could ask whoever is testifying. You know, where they at on their positions? Because a lot of times, what I've seen, especially when I was in the education committee, I had somebody come up one day like, "Hey, I represent this organization for the founders' values," and I just laughed in my head. So then, when it became time to ask a question, I was like, "So you believe in the founders' values?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "So you believe in enslavement of my ancestors?" And he just looked at me with a blank face, and I was like, You believe in the founders' values. The founders own slaves, bro. He was like, and he just paused. But a lot of them, I don't think it's some people that don't really fully understand what they even pushing,
Yeah.
or like it's interesting. I'm sure to be. I hope it's broadcasted so we can listen to it, or somebody's
Mm.
in it recording. Um, I don't know who the invited testimony is, but you can submit online comments and tell the committee how you feel about it as well. So, I mean, if they bring in this interim study, I won't be surprised if somebody drops a bill on it,
Mhm.
which would be
Mm.
interesting. So,
I'm definitely getting that sense. I didn't want to kind of break down as far as what SEL is. And shout out to Miss Erica Felt kind of in the chat giving us some information. She uses it for children. She says social emotional learning is what I do with my young children at the play school house. It's necessary, she says. It includes self-esteem, self-regulation, social skills, identifying feelings, and appropriately expressing them. She also says there are adults that honestly can't tell the difference between sadness and anger. They identify it all as anger and act aggressively. SEL prevents that. She says, my concern with the study is that it's usually used to prove a specific point. Is this study to prove we need it or not? Why is SEL put in with race and sexuality? SEL is not that. Which is what I was kind of getting to before we brought you on, Senator Paul. Went down this whole rabbit hole almost as far as like why are they using this? And I do want to ask because in itself, this is just a study. It's just a study, but I'm getting the sense that everybody feels like the way that this study is going to be used isn't there's an agenda behind it. I guess is that fair?
more than likely, I mean, the study is the study. I don't know what they're gonna bring out of it, but if you're only inviting invited testimony, it's
Mm-mm.
potentially only going to get one side of the argument. So unless they're inviting people from both sides, in which I don't know, you're probably going to get a one-sided viewpoint of what social emotional learning is, and that's probably going to come from a viewpoint that the introducer wants. So just to prove that social emotional learning is just like CRT, most likely is what they're trying to do.
Yeah, that's what Marion Williams in the chat said is that they think it's the same thing, or they're fighting. So and if we're going to look at the past, in part for the courses, them putting studies together and getting together and having closed meetings and all kinds of stuff, trying to battle CRT. This probably what's coming here. Marion Williams in the chat says I've commented 3 times on the SEL hearing page and haven't once received the required email to confirm my comments. Not sure it's working. Okay. That's
If you haven't, I would reach out to the clerk's office or the education committee and say, "Hey, I submitted a comment and it's not popping up." But I would reach out to the clerk's office and tell them something's wrong with the website if it's not coming to you.
Yeah, is that like a phone call, or email?
Probably either or. Go to the legislator's website and there should be some contact info for the clerk.
yeah. So I think it's the call to action here is really important for us to take a look at that study, take a look at that resolution, and then whatever opinions you have on it. There's probably some instructions there on how to reach. Well, we'll see. Marianne Williams says it's glitching for her, but we make some calls and try to get our comments out there. That is a closed session is always a little nervous. I mean, it's not closed, but it's you said it's an invited. How are they working this? They only invite certain people in here to make comments.
So, yeah, they only invite people to make testimony, but the public still could view. They just won't be able to testify. So you still could go in person and listen, but you
Mm.
just wouldn't be able to testify.
Can't say nothing. Yeah, that's very interesting. That woman says, remember there was the woman who spoke at the school board meeting saying that CRT teaches middle school children how to masturbate. I definitely remember that comment. And yeah, it's just I am interested. A part of this resolution, there will be a report on the back end of this study, so I am kind of curious to see what that report includes. What it details and how that data will be used. I'm along with everybody else and kind of in the feeling that there is an agenda behind it. The big argument behind why some individuals, in the comparison has been made to Florida, why CRT is a bad thing, in some opinion, is because of how it makes others feel as far as this quote unquote white guilt. And when I see social emotional learning, that's what I'm thinking is, will this study and this data be used to say that talking about slavery, talking about, the real history of America is negatively impacting the social emotional learning of others, making them feel bad. That's kind of the track I'm seeing this going on.
I don't know, man. I kind of see. I feel like they don't know what they're talking about. Everything they're talking about doesn't sound like they even understand what. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in more control of their emotions? I don't understand like what. Why would they? I don't even know how. I actually want to go look and see how they're trying to tie this to CRT. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't even make no sense to me how is it being tied? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So it's just here's another thing. Oh, I just by the way just got a text from brother Wayne. He's feeling under the weather today, so he's not gonna make it on the show. So shout out to brother Wayne for letting us know, and I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have you. Can't wait to talk to you next week. But yeah, man, this is something that I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around. The reason why it. I mean, how can you not feel like this is there's like there's so much racism, fascism, everything, all the isms going on right now. Like why, why would anybody trying to block anybody from learning anything in the first place? Just in general,
Hmm.
in general.
If you feel guilty about your ancestors potentially owning slaves, in my opinion, you probably feel that way still. So
I mean,
that's
if you feel that you're right now profiting off the fact that your ancestors own slaves, if you feel guilty that you're in a system built for you to be able to thrive right now while people are suffering, then yeah. But I don't know, man. How does I mean? It can't be guilt. I mean, that can't be the answer to all of it. Like they all can be feeling guilty. There's something else going on.
Hmm.
I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people ain't feeling guilty about none of that. So what? You know what I'm saying? So
I don't
like,
think it's guilt. I think they realize that if people fully understand their history and the history of America, a lot of the people that are in positions of power or positions of control will be removed, or a, a shift will change in society. I think
Hmm.
that's it. Um, that's the biggest thing, is that the more people that know, the more inferior they feel, because who's going to just sit by and let you just say a bunch of BS when it's not true?
yeah,
So that's
that's what
that's
it
it.
is. I hear that, man. In the chat, real quick, Miss Erica Phelps says she immediately received an email verification, but after that, no acknowledgement.
Hmm.
So that's good to know for Marianne Williams. She says, "Are our online submitted comments considered with equal weight as the spoken testimony?"
Spoken testimony is always the best, but senators, I will tell you, do read the online comments, and we take those into account as well.
Yeah. Pop says they jump on anything that is referred to by initials. If you put some initials on something, then they want to fight it. Bro, brother Mayor Sanchez says the sum of the people, some of the people that feel guilty doesn't outweigh the sum of the people that will benefit. This is true, very true. So yeah, man. I guess bless you. Another thing that is something that we're trying to figure out here and keep our eye on. And again, the call to action on this is to either go. Well, you said in this case, even if you go, you can't testify. So it's all about us putting in our testimony online for this one and hoping it gets through. What do you feel like is the so what so if they reach their agenda, whatever you feel like their agenda is, how will this make what will this do to us? How will this make schools suffer? What do you think will happen?
Um, I think if they had their way, I mean, they would teach that slavery benefited black people. So
Hmm.
I mean, that's the slope we're on.
That's
Hopefully it doesn't pass. I'll fight it. But I think as far as how we would change schools, I think we would just have to make sure that we are teaching our kids
Yeah.
and we are educating our kids about our history and where we come from and our identity as much as possible. We'll have to do more of equipping our kids with the knowledge. And not just rely on our schools to teach. We shouldn't just rely on our schools in the first place, but we would have to, emphasize it a lot more in our homes to make sure that our kids are getting a proper education. Because there was a time in this country where we had our ancestors had to do more of that in the home. So it's looking like they're trying to get back to that. So we just got to be more intentional about, educating our kids, even prior to if this passed or not. I think it's always good to make sure we're teaching our kids about who we are. So
Yep. Yeah. That kind of brings me to the school choice conversation that's been happening.
Yep.
Yep, that's right in the background. Of course, as we ended last season, the bill was passed as far as school choice. But now, since during the break, there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of commotion in regards to these petitions. Um, can you kind of speak as far as do you have any comment? Really, I would say as far as what you've been seeing with the petitions and where we are as far as this whole school choice conversation. Because I do agree, we do need other forms of education. We can't just rely on public schools to be the end all be all. So yeah, what are your thoughts?
it's definitely been a hyper polarized conversation.
Mm,
Interesting conversation. I did vote for the bill. I'm not never gonna run from that. I voted for it because I fundamentally believe that kids in my community deserve an option. The public school system for the past 30 plus years have failed them, and the numbers show it. Um, so that's where I'm at. I mean, if we're gonna do petitions on tax credits, there should be a petition on every tax credit in the state since they take away from public schools.
yeah,
Mm.
that has been
Um,
viewed as far as
and
tax.
it's just interesting though, like our state just put $350+ million into a new prison. Nobody talking about that, but that prison gonna house our people, most likely from North Omaha, the people that I represent. I mean, I don't even feel like you gotta agree with me or not. I just honestly, and I don't look at it as like this silver bullet solution that's gonna solve all the problems. I just realized going through the public school system. I got a kid in the public school system. I coach, advocate, and mentor kids in the public school system. Some of them deserve an like all of them deserve an option, and some of them maybe don't fit inside the public school system. I'm not saying this for every kid, but it's kind of funny how kids that are growing up impoverished are being told, stay in this system that has historically failed you and hope it get better and hope it works out. But if your parents can eventually get a job and get some money, then they can put you into this other system. It's
Right.
just telling our kids to wait, hope it get better, hope it get better. No, but if for me, it's like okay, if you're against tax credits because they take away from public schools, there needs to be a petition drive on every tax credit in this state.
Mm.
Keep that same energy, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I am kind of curious. We had the conversation. Does the school choice bill lay out the process of creating private schools or kind of the stipulation on?
No, it just sets up a scholarship granting organization that will distribute the scholarships.
Mm. So it's still it's each individual kid that they're focusing on, not actual whole schools or building schools or anything like that, right?
No, it don't. It doesn't automatically go to any school of
Right.
any denomination or particular character or whatever.
So just to remind everybody, this is a highly touchy topic in the city as a whole, but also on First Sky Omaha, we have chat chimers that believe that go back and forth. This is one of the ones that we go back and forth about a lot, and I just want to I know from my own personal ideas about this. The one thing that I try to remember is that there's no money being taken out of public schools for these private school vouchers. And I just want to double check with you if that's correct. First of all,
Say that again.
So is there money being taken out of public schools that is going to these private school vouchers?
No, it's not being taken away from public schools. It's a tax credit. It doesn't even come to the state because it's a
Right.
credit on your taxes.
Credit on your taxes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that where the money was coming from was definitely a part of the argument there. Also, I think we've seen where certain groups of people have misused the whole private school system by building, doing like the white flight thing, going out somewhere, building a school, putting their kids in there, and then not letting other kids in those, being discriminatory when it comes to other kids going to them. That's something that we're used to seeing, but in my opinion, we also could be building our own black schools and doing other things as well. If we had that kind of school voucher help, in order to be able to give kids a different kind of choice. Right now, where are we at as far as choices are concerned with private schools in Omaha and the state? Where are we at right now with it? In this particular point in time, do kids have any choices now that they're getting pushed back? Like they want to go to a certain school, but they're getting pushed back for, and that is that type of thing happening right now?
I mean, technically, you got choice, but in a practical sense, you don't. I mean, depends on where you live. In some cases, it depends on a lot of factors. You just don't automatically get accepted into schools.
Well, just as far as just the choices out there, of course, let's just look at North Omaha specifically. And our supportive school choice, we constantly point at Mandela, which is the elementary school. Are there other private middle schools or high schools that are similar to Mandela, or is Mandela kind of it in North Omaha when it comes to private schools and that type of system?
No, Mandela is it. I mean, we do got Jesuit, uh, and we got some other schools, but as far as just like culturally, a cultural specific school like Mandela, that's one of one.
Wow. Marion Williams in the chat says 100% Senator. If tax credits take money from public schools, there are many tax breaks like TIF to address, and tax-free entities like churches and charities too. Very, very true. T Ren is a name I haven't seen on YouTube over here. It's not about tax credits. It's about funding white people driven by segregation who put their kids in private schools in the first place, now being rewarded for it through tax credits. You can't choose private schools choose you. Okay, so this is here we are some examples of a different part of the argument, and this is kind of what I was referring to when I was
But
saying.
public schools choose you too. Public schools deny kids every year, all the time. Kids
Really?
try to go to public school, some public schools they can't get in those public schools. It's not.
So
It's not just a. It only happens. That's my biggest issue with this whole conversation. And if you disagree, it's cool. I don't have a problem with it. But it's this whole boogeyman versus angel argument
mm,
with the public schools and private schools, and the issue is there are good things about both and there are bad things about both. Both discriminate against people. I'm
Hmm.
not saying one form, two wrongs don't make a right, but let's just be honest here. We can't just have this boogeyman conversation and not talk about all the black kids that's been suspended going through the school to prison pipeline over the past 30 years in the
hello.
public school system. We can't, let's talk about the graduation rates of black kids in the state, Native American kids in the state. Let's talk about it's a bunch of things we could break down, but let's just be honest, it's bad things and good things about both.
hmm hmm
And I'm not
So
advocating for either. I'm saying our kids just deserve an option because America has just been horrible to black people, and I'm all for giving black kids an option because I don't believe that that people in certain positions really care about kids that look like me. So if I'm in a position to help them out and give them an option, it's not for all of them, but yes, it's look at the public school system in the city is segregated. Let's just be honest.
mhm.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's facts. But I'm kind of curious. I don't want to gloss over this point. So, students who are turned away from it, where do they go? Like, what options do they have?
Go where? You got to find another public school. So I know kids that live. a few blocks from North got told they couldn't go to North, so they had to go to Central. It's so it it
Mm.
happens in both. Like
Yeah. Um. Yeah. You're looking at we probably looking at T Ren's comment there. Fix the public school system. Don't reward racists. The racist foundation of private school is not in question in this country. So it's we always are referring back to like Mandela. Mandela's a private school, right? For the most part, everybody feels like it's a school culturally. It's a school that is been doing good for us in our neighborhood.
it's a cultural school in the middle of North Omaha, run by a white foundation.
Run by a white foundation, right?
Mm.
So, so and that's really the only example we have. Like you said, it's only Mandela 101. So I'm looking. So it's hard for me to argue about. For me, like I'm like, can we? Is there some other examples of private schools that are able to help? And you're right. And now I'm pulling back from that question just because the last thing you said, because you're right. Like what the problems have to be solved in both private and public sector. Public sector has just as many problems and different kinds of problems as well. And what do you do when you're a kid living next to North, can't go to North, got to get shipped, got to go somewhere else? And also choice. Is there a choice of where you can go in the public schools? Is there a choice where you can go in public schools, or do you have to live in that neighborhood in order to go to the specific school unless you get kicked out?
You got to live in that neighborhood, and sometimes it just depends, and they could still deny you. Like if you don't live in a neighborhood, because if it's not your home school and you try to go to that school, you got to get accepted.
Yeah.
So if you live in by North, if you live in the territory of North High, and they tell you can't go to North High, you try to go to a different public school and they can still tell you no, you can't come to this because you live by North High.
Uh, it it yeah, potentially yes, or it depends on what they're defining as your home school based on your address.
Where your home school
You
is.
should be able to get into your home school, but if you don't want to go to your home school, you got to get let into those other schools
Mhm.
Mm,
just
And
out of automatic enrollment.
yeah, and I'm thinking because certain schools have different specialties, certain schools are different magnets. Of course, the engineering program at North, Sword Central, Benson, Northwest, they all have different programs. And say you're a child who wants to get into those different career fields, that can definitely be impacted. Um,
mm,
Okay, okay. I'm just thinking back, like as you think, I'm thinking back to how I went through the process. I think Central, Burke, and North were my three school choices. Like so, when you're going out of middle school and in OPS, I'm just speaking of OPS. When you're going out of middle school into high school, you get three choices,
mm,
and then you're basically out of those three choices, they select you. So my three choices again were Burke, Central, and North selected me. I was approved to go to North, so it wasn't just a process of me just picking North and going to it. There was certain choices that had to be
mm.
made. The selection process.
Just looking at the chat, other people are chiming in, talking about the church issue too, which is part of this. Miss Erica Pell says, "I have issues with church and state mingling and tax dollars being used to benefit religion. It's a tax credit, but that means tax revenue affected." Miss Marianne Williams says, "Why are we giving tax money to Georgetown or Notre Dame or Creighton via college financial aid? Same thing." Kimmer Snipes is its student assignment plan. There's a lot of research about how student assignment plans feed into segregation and racism.
Hmm.
I guess my thing is if we got a problem with the churches benefiting from taxes or whatever, we need to take away their tax exemptions too, since we got a problem with that. Let's start a petition on that too. Let's take away the tax exemption of churches.
Yeah,
Let's start a petition for that.
which will happen. That's going to happen.
But
That's
I'm not even advocating for it. I'm just saying like it's a lot of it's my biggest thing is why is the tax credit, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work, that potentially might help some kids that look like me, the one that's getting all the fire, but we got all these other ones that
Mm-hmm.
nobody brings up, all these other benefits that go to developers, rich white people, and all these other people.
Right.
No,
Thanks, Tiff Alley, everything.
Right.
nobody standing in a park every week getting people to sign petitions for that.
Selective
Mm.
outrage. Selective outrage.
Bro, we were just somewhere yesterday and was kept getting rudely interrupted by these cats with these petitions they wanted us to sign about this school choice issue. We just did an article last show about the fact that there was some kind of fist fight that went on with somebody. I mean, it's a hot topic, and there's so much misinformation going on. And I think it takes a person like you who can take a look at the big picture, this wide view of what we're talking about here, which is you're not even really advocating for either. You're just saying what needs to happen is that we need to be paid attention to. Our people that look like us need to be paid attention to more and given a choice to be able to figure out where we can fit and actually get to the learning part, which we ain't even really getting to talk about too much
Right.
because we talk about all this other stuff. So yeah, I appreciate it, your viewpoint on that, man. And reminding us about it. I know that you come on the show and talked about this before, but sometimes when we get lost in the sauce of talking about it with everybody, we forget where you stand on some things. So we appreciate you coming back and reiterating that. Just let you guys know it's 8:17 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, if you're just joining us with Senator Terrell McKinney, he is with us today on Mondays. Him and brother Wayne are going to be on. Senator Wayne are going to be on Mondays from now on. Senator Wayne is under the weather right now, but we have brother McKinney here with us. If you have any questions for him, please leave those in the chat, and hopefully we'll get a few more minutes with him and talk about and jump to some other subjects though and get on some other stuff. Please hit the like button if you're on YouTube. Appreciate you. Rome's reviews on reminding me to say that. Hit the like button if you're on YouTube. And if you miss any parts of this interview, you can always go back to check it out in its entirety on Facebook or YouTube. Please check it out. Leia Vinton in the house saying good morning with some sunshine. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming in. And thank you guys, everybody, for all of your comments on this issue. This is something we'll definitely continue to talk about on this show. So tune back in. We're here Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 7 to 9. Moving on from that subject. Moving on from that subject. First of all, I want to give you a chance, brother McKinney. Is there anything that we need to be looking at? We always ask you this towards the end of in the interview. Which things do we need to be taking action on and taking a look at, or what's on your mind? What's the big thing that you're working on right now that you want us to understand about?
I'm not specifically working on nothing as far as just trying to make sure this economic recovery stuff is done right. Still waiting to hear when they're going to release those applications. So once they do, I'll let y'all know. Have a town hall tomorrow at the Malcolm X Center at 6 p.m. What else is coming up?
Is
Omaha
this the
Day
town?
this week.
Yeah, Omaha Day this week. Is this the town hall tomorrow happening that was the speech that we took a look at? Is that the town hall for that? Okay,
Yeah,
we'll get with you today on the notes. Don't really have many, bro. It seems like you got down what you're trying to say, and it sounded good. So, but we'll hit you about that this afternoon. But yeah, man. So that town hall. What time is it again at Malcolm X tomorrow?
it's at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, if you guys can make that, let's try to do that. I think this is a good, especially if you have any questions about what's going on with the 1024, the 531 money, all those the things that are coming up with the DED about this. If you have any stake in that, then we'll get a little update and also just clarify what's going on. We always want to give the senators a chance to talk about what their position is and so they're graciously doing that where I haven't seen many other senators doing that, and so definitely want to support. Come on through tomorrow, the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation at 6 o'clock, and hear what Brother McKinney has to say on that. You getting ready for that, buddy? Was there anything else that we wanted to ask the senator while he was here that I'm forgetting?
No, I did have one last question on the school situation. And just kind of putting out to the people as far as like how we respond to certain things. There's a lot of conversation and comment about how this could negatively impact the community. But I want to urge people to look at it how it can positively impact the community if if this petition does go through and it does go on the ballot and it sticks. How can we in the community create our own schools? Can we again take advantage of this, start creating schools, start donating to those schools, start, taking advantage of those tax credits? How can we, be on the offensive and not the defensive all the time when it comes to these types of, how can we look at it as an opportunity, not a problem? So Just wanted to put that out there.
I mean, if it gets on a ballot and it passes, I mean that opportunity is taken away. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so then we're back with this one system that is failing our kids, and we're gonna have to have some real tough conversations down in Lincoln about how to address it within the public schools. I it's I don't it's I mean you people could feel how they feel. I just honestly just think kids that have been historically failed deserve an option, and they
There you
shouldn't be
go.
through one system.
It,
And you can disagree with me or not, but at the end of the day, the numbers are the numbers, and the numbers are showing that Black kids, Native American kids, and minority kids have been historically failed in a public school system, especially in North Omaha. And I'm not gonna stand against providing kids with an option that it might work, it might not work. Who's to say? None of us are, we can't predict the future,
like the
but
fortune tellers, right?
Worth the try.
the reality is when people say like, "Oh, you're gonna destroy the public schools," I think people miss the reality that for a lot of people, public schools already failed them. It's already failed. They
Yeah,
feel hopeless. It's why kids don't want to go to school no more.
right.
It's like if you really work with these kids and really get an understanding of what's going on and get out of the political polarization and
Mm.
dive deep into these things, it's I mean, yes, there's questions. There's always going to be questions. There's going to be right and wrong. But everybody, in my opinion, we have to take a step back and look at the whole and understand what it is, because when we got a state that is building a prison, nobody's petitioning that.
Right.
We had a whole county board build a new juvenile justice center downtown that they can't even open because it's not adequate. Who did a petition on that? All these people care about these kids and what's happening, and all this money being invested into their incarceration, but nobody's up in arms. That's what offends me. It's not that you disagree. It's just that the things that like prisons and things like that, nobody's standing on the street trying to fight against those things. It's
Right.
just us. Nobody's with us.
Selective outrage.
And that killer piece to me is that they think it's going to destroy public schools by taking money away from them, and it's not. And we got Tiff Valley and all these other things. Like you're right. Like that's making me outraged too to think
Three
that
hundred $350 million is state funds not going to education.
right.
That's taken away from public education. Let's talk about it.
The fervor at which they're going after this as if the tax credits is going to kill something when I mean how many times we talk about a building coming up in Tiff Alley and nobody who the Compton Cottonwood Hotel got TIF money
Man,
and they want to trip over anyway.
North Omaha is oversaturated with a bunch of nonprofits that have tax exemption that some could say have did a good job and some will say they ain't did anything. But that's taken away from public education. I is
it's a lot.
Miss Erica Fell says, I'm still not sure. I 100% understand this school funding. However, I appreciate the dialogue so I can gain some different perspective. It's definitely something we'll continue to talk about. Wanda Lewis says maybe OPS could benefit on leasing their schools. That's
Mm.
interesting. She said private schools already have 2 to 3 year wait lists. How will this be addressed? Build more private schools? These are all good questions. Black Dynamite in the chat says public school failed a long time ago. Uh, 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 Lee is a grown man able to enroll and go to school for a year and a half. I'm not sure what you meant by that. Ceci Jean says the class size was one of the reasons my nephew went to a private school. Smaller class sizes and so on and so forth. But again, there's a big wait, big 2 or 3 year wait on those types of things. Ms. Erica Fell says the main reason I assume this will harm public school is because of who is initiating the school choice across the country, and here it was initiated in response to CRT hysteria. And I think that's I'm glad you brought that back up. That's definitely something that I feel like everybody, part of the argument certain groups of people are taking, or anti CRT people are trying to. This is what they're using in order to fight CRT and everything else that they're trying to fight. Marianne Williams says the anti CRT or anti LGBTQ initiatives will continue regardless of school choice petition. Sadly.
Hmm.
So, like I said, we're noticing when they do use situations where they can build these private schools, is usually not to our advantage either, but it could be to our advantage of some. And the whole point is that something's got to be done with public and private school, and really, to option for us, our kids to have some options is not doesn't mean we're gonna stop fighting for what's going on with public schools too. So I mean, like Brother McKinney saying, they both have problems. We appreciate your words on this, man, most definitely, and we want to hold you up all day, but really appreciate you coming on talking about this. It was kind of a topic that came up last week and stuck with us because of that whole situation. So we appreciate you coming on, and most definitely. As a matter of fact, if you got any last words for us before we get out of here, man, we'll go ahead and let you go on about your day. And
I would just say everybody enjoy your week. Make sure y'all get out and enjoy Native Omaha Days if you can. Stop by one of the events that's going on throughout the week. And then Saturday, let's have some fun, parade, and root for our champ in Vegas,
Yeah.
and just have some fun and
That's
be
what's up.
safe.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you very much for coming on. Well, you have a good day and take care of yourself, bro. We'll see you next
You
week.
too.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.
All right, there you go. Brother Senator Terrell McKinney in the house, giving us a little bit more dialogue on this whole school choice issue for sure. We'll take a quick break and come right back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Ah! I can't wait till you play this back and see how you got stuck right there. That was the best. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. What up? What up? What up? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Call Buddi3 Da Gawd, chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for all of your comments on this subject. This is definitely something that we keep talking about. It's going to be an ongoing topic for a while, I'm quite sure. And everybody has a personal stake in there. Miss Erica Phelps says Boogie attended private school 2.5 years and then went to public school because it's better suited him, and he has since thrived. So, and a proponent for choice on that as well. So appreciate that very much. She's thanking Senator McKinney. Kimber Snipes says I'm having a fight party with the Jackson twins Saturday at Fair Deal. Input the details on the First Sky page. Appreciate that very much. I was wondering where the parties is going to be at for that. She also says my parents sent me to private school for 2 years in elementary. I hated and loved it at the same time.
Hmm.
Uh, so when I think about Kimra's the way that she learns and studies and does what she does, there's a lot of us that didn't really like get a degree, so we kind of taught ourselves some things, but we had to learn what we learned in the schools that we were in. And I think back about that. I mean, everybody thinks about this personally, for sure. In a lot of ways, public schools failed a lot of us in a whole lot of ways. Those of us that got the chance to go to private school, it's half and half too. I mean, that's really the point. The point is that you probably need more choices to figure out where you fit, what will help you learn and do the best and thrive. Some people thrive in a big classrooms. I mean, some people don't thrive as much when they got a lot of attention on them. I mean, kids are this is so individualized for kids that it really is like we need even more choices than the choices they're talking about. To
Yeah.
be honest, and on top of everything else, hopefully it'll be the parents' responsibility to really kind of teach the kids anyway if they can. I know that a lot of parents got to work, don't have a lot of time for that. So this is why it's such a heated topic too, because they're like, look, I wish I could just homeschool my kid, but I can't. Got to go to work. So the school needs to take care of what they need to take care of for us, and that's what they're there for. So interesting stuff, man. We'll definitely continue to talk about it. Um, but at this point, at 8:31, we kind of felt like I feel a little bit exhausted on this particular topic right now myself. We definitely got couple more things that we want to talk to before we get to the haps, but don't want to discourage you from continuing on with your comments on this either, because your comments have been very insightful. We really appreciate that very much, buddy. How you feeling over there, man?
Man, I'm feeling good. Feeling good.
Feeling good, feeling great. Just want to remind people that you can talk about Barbie if you want to. You can talk about Oppenheimer if you want to. You can talk about Barbenheimer, but ain't nothing going on but Tyrone as far as we're concerned.
Call.
If you haven't seen this, go check it out. Netflix. They clone Tyrone. It's an instant classic. Definitely want to talk about that. You know what else is a classic that's getting celebrated coming up? We'll talk about this on the Haps as well. But 85 years at the Omaha Stars is about to go down, man. New ownership, ribbon cutting happening on July 27th. Even more stuff happening on July 27th coming up. So definitely check it out. Terry Sanders will be there. Miss Sanders will be there as the new owner, and it'll be a celebration, ribbon cutting, and celebrating 85 years. This is the longest running women-run black newspaper in the country, right here in Omaha, Nebraska, the Omaha Star. So let's keep all that in mind. Also, just want to remind everybody that we are on season 6 right now.
Man.
Season 6 for us here at First Sky Omaha is entitled "Boots to the Roots." This is the time that we are trying to gather all the friends and people that are trying to that want to take some action on some things, do some things. That's why we're meeting with everybody while buddy's in town. Amy H. Dot gave us a good morning a little earlier. I'm glad you're on. She's absolutely been helping us with some event planning and some things like that. And also this list that she made of black businesses is ongoing hot list. If you don't see your business on there, let her know, let us know, and we'll definitely try to keep adding to this list. There's an amazing amount of people that are on this list. If you don't
Man.
know, if you don't know where it's at, it's pinned over at Friends of First Sky Omaha at the top. So you can always check that. I did it yesterday, man. I was looking for a place to eat, and I was like, let me hit this directory real quick and see all these restaurants. Tons of black-owned restaurants out there. So definitely check that out. Again, it's pinned at the top of Friends of First Sky Omaha. If you don't see your business there, let us know so we can add that to it and just keep on rolling with this comprehensive hot list that we got going on. Later on in the Haps, we're going to be showing you this list right here up close because you can't read it now, I'm quite sure.
Man.
These are all the things happening for Native Omaha Days right here from the 24th, which is today, all the way to the 31st. So yes, if you we'll post this in Friends of First Sky Omaha too, so you can download it. But man, yeah, I can't remember where I found this, but I was pretty amazed about how many things that's happening there. We'll definitely talk about it during the Haps and all that good stuff too. So thanks for everybody that's joining us. Even season 6 is Boots to the Roots. And I love this quote by Malcolm X right here, who is, of course, a Omaha native, as you are.
Mm.
We are not outnumbered. We're out organized.
Mm.
That's what this is about, bro. That's
Man.
what this is about. This is about finding the people that want to put the boots to the roots, get the work done, and get busy with stuff. And so I try to keep that quote in my mind, man, because this is all about organization. It's all about us getting on the same page and finding the language to fight, and then organizing the action to do the things we need to do to make our lives better and more complete as well, and our loved ones, and live in some kind of harmony. So that's what we're here for. That's what we're all about, and we're gonna keep on doing that here in season 6. I see you guys going off in the chat some more. Amy H. Dot in the house says my perspective is different as I was raised in Puerto Rico, where the public school system has been deplorable for decades, purely for safety reasons. Most who are able send their kids to private.
Mm.
Okay, interesting. Marianne Williams says schools are funded by head count. Homeschooling also reduces head count. Yeah, that's another way they feel like public schools are going to be destroyed if you start pulling your kids out and going to private school. The head count will go down. Kimber Snipe says, I started watching it last night, but Survival of the Thickest is super dope too. Okay, that's the second time we heard this. We got to find. I got to see what that is.
I'm trying to think. Is that about the plus size fashion designer? I think I might have caught wind of that. Let
Everybody keeps on just posting Survival of the Thickest. Like I've seen the title everywhere. I just don't know what it's about, so I will have to check it out. It's kind of the entertainment show today. Uh,
man.
Amy H. Dot says, just because it's private doesn't mean it's instantly better. Very true. I've attended 4 different private schools in Puerto Rico, and there was a vast difference between all. Got it. Brooke says there's a new black business on 16th Street, Walker Convenience Store. Grand opening on the 29th. They will have free hot dogs. Okay, that's
Okay.
that store right there on 16th Street. They turned that into a studio kind of recently, and now it's back to a store. But I remember walking to that store as a kid with my grandfather and my cousins and stuff like that. It's interesting that store is back open. It's now a store again on 16th. So that's
Oh,
yep.
that was like Studio One, I think I remember.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay, that is okay. I was actually asking what that building, what they were doing with that. So the
Right.
night, what you said, the 29th. Okay,
Yep,
free
29.
hot dogs.
Uh, that one said intentionally tried Luffy's on Saturday. The owner and service is great. My taste is different than what they offer though. Okay, that's what's up. Appreciate you trying one. You
Yeah,
definitely plenty of black businesses, especially food.
man.
A lot of choices out there. So yeah, definitely try some. Yeah, Brooke, we were talking about the new Boots Riley movie about the huge kid. That we were just talking about that. There's a
I'm
lot
a
of
Virgo.
say again.
I'm a Virgo is the title.
Yeah, I'm a Virgo, so yeah, it's on Amazon Prime, I believe. So, but lots of actually some lots of yeah, I'm into that stuff. Like I say, I figured out I'm an Afro surrealist. That's really what I'm all about. So that Boots Riley movies are right up my alley because of the kind of stuff he does. Definitely surreal. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
definitely check it out. We're coming up on 8:38 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, buddy, I know you're chomping at the bit on the next subject. I see you over there. Like, can we get to it?
Well, yeah, yeah, I'm ready. Just letting the conversation flow. But definitely want to round back around to what we're saying. Kimra's here for it, talking about organizing. She says I should do my direct action organizing presentation for y'all. We would love that. We would love that. Definitely, I want to tap in. We're doing some organizing ourselves behind the scenes and trying to make sure that our story is being told accurately. And that's very, very important. This is a continuation of the conversation. It's really surrounding the whole Bryant Center coverage, but it's bigger than just that story. Again, it's why we exist. We recognize, early on that our story wasn't being told. If you're outside of North Omaha, you think it's all about shootings and just kind of the dysfunction that happens in the community. But there's a lot more that meets the eye. So
Buddy's giving a shout out to Jakeen
Jakeen
Fox
Fox, who's
that
taking
has
it.
just dropped an article.
Yes, thank you. It's taking it upon himself to really question it and kind of speak up against some coverage that has happened again, most namely about the Bryant Center, and we again spoke to Brother Wells last week about his perspective on how that situation has happened. The article is available now on the not the reader, but the Star, the Omaha Star website, and again, we are all coming together to help have a better representation in North Omaha. So, again, I urge people to go check out that article at the Omaha Star, and more so support the Omaha Star and what they're doing, what she's doing. Again, Paul mentioned that there will be a celebration of the change of ownership, and of course, we ended last season speaking with Sister Sanders and talking about again what's going on and what's coming up at the Star. And again, there's some conversation I did read through some comments on Friends of First Sky, and some people kind of had some things to say about the type of news coming out of the Omaha Star. But I will put out there that everybody has a role to play, and organization and teamwork definitely makes the dream work. That's still a thing, and that's still a belief we have here at First Sky. So yeah, just wanted to tee that up. Representation, man. Got to tell your own story.
Absolutely, absolutely. You want to jump into? We didn't really read what Jakeen was saying. Let's jump into his article a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hot one, and we're actually going to try to get him on Wednesday as well to talk about this article. This also ties into what Miss Sanders posted early that we showed you Friday. her talk about people telling our stories for us and us telling our own stories. This ties right along with her broadcast there. What Jakeen was talking about. So yeah, if we can jump into that a little bit, that'd be great.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it's definitely going along the same lines of what we had expressed during our conversation of this article. Again, as Jakeen writes, the line from the article, but for 15 years, Jones is driven by the Bryant Center and felt pangs of regret. The place is almost always empty, gates locked. It is a quote that's been pulled out of this Flatwater Free Press article. And according to Jakeen, that quote darkened spirits and moods and raised questions about what, if anything, can be accomplished by white journalists and media outlets, quote unquote, gentrifying North Omaha's narrative. Intended to be a shining profile on Omaha native and former Creighton basketball star Josh Jones, the tribute was overshadowed by what many community members say are inaccurate and untrue claims. Actually, later on in the article, Jakeen writes, the courts are special to Jones. You can feel his energy and nostalgia, of course, energy shared by many in the community, including, of course, Brother Wells, who we spoke to, and also Sundiata Menelik, who again helped personally clean those grounds. In this article, one thing that really jumped out to me was the fact that Jakeen took it upon himself to pull out some of the activities that actually were going on over the last few years at the Bryant Center. Actually, let's see if I can share these photos really quickly.
You don't do too much. You know you on a small pack.
Can you see those photos?
Yes.
Okay, so again, if you remember 2018, 2019, really leading up to the pandemic, there was a lot of activity at the Bryant Center. Again, shout out to Marcy Yates in the Culture House, which was originally located right across the street. He's had several events and festivals there. Even before Sherman Wells and the whole Untamed kind of settled there and had a lot of activity there for over 2 years. Again, Bud Crawford had events there. There were basketball tournaments, a lot of things going on there. And you kind of question, how did the journalists miss that? How did they not see any of this? So the fact that, again, Jakeen took it upon himself to find these photos speaks volumes. Shout out to Manny About Town, as we like to call him here on the show, brother Manny Cook, who also had a lot to say about this and the danger of these types of inaccurate reportings. He says, because of his community engagement work focusing on collaborations, he's seen how seemingly small disagreements in North Omaha can become decades-long feuds. According to Cook, these flare-ups can foster, quote unquote, only to be instigated, or excuse me, can fester only to be instigated and amplified when outside money and power come into play. And you got to know that's the issue here. Cook brings up a powerful analogy in this article about how colonial powers would pit African tribes against each other in an effort to weaken the continent as a whole. Of course, it's not as intentional, maybe, as it was back in the colonial days. But again, Manny does express his own personal concern, saying what happens when something actually does blow up, when there are instances, again, when certain rips or certain activities aren't acknowledged in the community. Also, Brother Johnny No Good was quoted in this article saying that when asked whether the narrative felt intentional, he says, whether intentional or not, the damage is done. And of course, the damage he's referring to is the harming of potentially beneficial partnerships in the Black community. He recounts the role white journalists and media played in creating the narrative that the Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. were at odds, when it has since been expressed and reported that that's not the case, that these two were actually working a lot closer than a lot of people believed.
Right.
So again, just warning us of the dangers of when we don't tell our own story, which again is a sentiment that Miss Sanders shared in her recent video.
I just put the link to that article in the chat there. It's a Medium. He's on Medium right now. As Buddy stated, though, I think it's now being posted on the Omaha Star. I haven't double checked that, but yeah, you can grab it over there. But yeah, definitely take a look through this article, check it out, read it. It's a very good article to just try to consider some things as well. Like Buddy said earlier, we started our Mind and Soul morning show, which is when we got Mind and Soul up and running over there at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, we wanted to anchor it in our own news because we were really getting tired of how mainstream media was portraying us, and we wanted to be able to do that. So we said we have to anchor this station around a morning show that provides news, so that we can provide some context, read between the lines on the news that's out there, and really be able to have some conversations about it. And we're here to this day still doing that, still trying to sift through what it is that people are saying to us or saying about us, tell our own stories, and so on and so forth. So that's what this is about, and this is really interesting, uh, commentary on what's going on here. So appreciate Jakeen for bringing that out. Appreciate Miss Sanders for speaking up on her podcast, saying, what is it about? Why can't we tell our own stories? What's going on here? I saw something earlier that was saying if that would have been in the Omaha Star, they wouldn't have had a chance. But I don't necessarily believe that. I think that there's always going to be mainstream media. There's always going to be people from outside our community telling stories about inside our community. We just have to become the trusted source inside our communities to be able to tell those stories ourselves, and let that be the dominant story. So that's why it's important that we have black media. That's why we're pushing what we're pushing. That's why we're doing trainings coming up in order to be able to train young citizen journalists to be able to come and tell their own stories as well. If we can all collaborate on this, that goes for everybody. It goes for Omaha Star, us, Jakeen, anybody else we consider black media, to get together and really tell our own stories in a professional way, in a way that gets the broadest views as well, so that everybody can understand it's coming from the source. There's nothing like us telling our own stories. There's nothing like it. If
Right.
we can do that, then hopefully we'll become the people that are the trusted source when it comes to what's going on there. So that's really what it's all about. Sean McCarthy in the chat. Good morning. He says, given that Omaha's only news for local news was K fascist AV, he said Mind and Soul was such a great alternative.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
appreciate that, man.
Thank you.
I think I saw something. I think I saw a teaser by Reggie C saying that they were going to try to fire up Mind and Soul again, or the KXNB anyway, the radio station over there, the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. So good luck to them, and I hope they do that. We can use all the coverage that we can get on
Right.
what we call Black News. Hopefully, we may even be able to work with them at some point and give them some news to be able to also spread out. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But yes, it's definitely something that we're trying to keep in mind. And when we expand, that's the reason why we try to expand. We appreciate everybody that helps us expand on that. So yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how these things pan out. But there's some things in the works. I will just say that I can't give you any details yet. But we are trying to form some black media in a real way, and own our stories, have ownership on our stories, that really applies to us, and become the experts there, the people that you can trust to hear the right story about.
I do want to make a comment about Flatwater though. I do want to say, still do support Flatwater, still
Mm,
do look at, their work. They are doing good journalism. And I don't think that, the story, this whole Josh Jones Bryant Center story, the intention was to create separation and division within the community. I
sure.
do think that Flatwater had all the best intentions for that story, but that's just even more to the point of the importance of us telling our own, even when they have the best intentions. If you're not from the community, you can't get it completely right. You're going to miss something. There's context that's not going to be there that is very integral to the story and how it's told. So again, I just wanted to put that out there. Not everybody's out to get us, but we got to tell our own story still.
And they'd be the first people to tell you that they don't really have the access that they would like, and they try to work with us and other groups. They're trying to put noise back together. There's all kinds of stuff that they're trying to do in order to be able to facilitate stories, because they know the importance of us being able to tell our own stories. They know the importance of us having access to our neighborhoods, and us be the ones that say what they need to say. They're trying to give it some attention, but again, if you're outside the community, sometimes that's really tough. But like I said, I have to give them credit for trying to involve us and other people in what's going on there. But it is up to us to have some ownership of the black media
Yep.
and the black press, and that's just what it's about. So we'll do our best to try to keep on fighting for that, and working with these allies that sometimes, if they don't get it all the way, we can help them get it, and then we'd have no problem with that too. So we'll see. I see a lot of stuff going on. going on in the chat, man. Yeah, the chat's going off. I really appreciate that. As a matter of fact, Rick Fulton was up a little bit further. He was talking about some funds that are out there. He said, speaking of helping Nebraskans with rent, our Nebraska Bar Association sponsors the Tenant Assistance Program (TAP) with free legal advice for those facing eviction. Also, he said people should know free legal help. Yeah, I totally agree. For one day during the hearing is available. I believe he said something about Dave Pontos. Yeah, he says I volunteer for TAP at City Hall with helping advise renters how to get this help. Appreciate that. Didn't know you were doing that. He also said Dave Pontos is a volunteer. We've talked to him, an attorney for TAP. Okay, so there's an organization that Dave Pontos works at too. I appreciate that. He says as well as my daughter and her firm, Coley Jessen. Okay, it's all coming together. I appreciate you putting this information out there, Brother Fulton. Says the renters having disputes with landlords should contact Nebraska's legal aid. That's what's
Yep.
up.
Yep.
Yeah, appreciate that very much. Says by the way, Susie Buffett Sherwood Foundation supports legal aid in Nebraska. When Sherwood is not buying up property in North Omaha and building a library, nobody asked for it at 72nd and Dodge. Okay. I appreciate you being transparent about where the money's coming from. If you know us, then you know we always are looking at the intentions of everybody that follow the money as part of that. Sherwood has done some good. Sherwood may be doing some other stuff too. We don't know. And we've seen some things that Sherwood is up to, but we also see some things Sherwood has done. It's just really about our organizations and how we use those funds if we get them. So that's what's up. Amy H. Dot says, I got Walker's convenience store added to the list now. That's what's up. We're building that black list. I love it. Appreciate everybody who's joined us here. I'll finish out with Brother Fulton says Willie Barney needs to get down to the Rich People's Mecca Park, formerly the Gene Leahy Mall, to stop the color car so that the millionaires behind that $50 million park, so they won't be disappointed. Stop the violence. There's been some fights and some things that's been going down in the Gene Leahy Mall. It hasn't all been us. It's been a lot of different folks from a lot of different communities because there's a lot of people that are gathering there at those parks. And
Yep.
that just is what happens. So if you have any place where a lot of people gather, there's going to be some incidents from time to time. So yeah, that's what it is. But yes, we will continue to do that. I told you the last Friday I ran into Lavanya
Good one.
Goodwin. Yes, and she was wanted to come on the show. We'll definitely have her on the show because there were some things she wanted to talk about. She's sounds like she's been listening to the show. She's still talking about the backlash that they got from that sign they put up, telling everybody. But she's made some claims that they've reduced crime 70% with the efforts that they've been doing around there and stuff like that. So we'll give her a chance to talk about those things. She says there's things that they talk about on the show. There's things they talk about in the newspaper, and there's things that you don't hear. She wants to come on and talk about the things, the other side of things that you don't hear. So we'll definitely talk to her about those things. But yeah, we're all. I think it's hard to quantify how we're helping anything. How any of us is helping anything. It's really kind of hard to figure out exactly what percentage of violence we're stopping or anybody else is stopping with anything. So we'll see. Brooke says she's a good neighbor. Yeah, Brooke, she was talking about you. She said, I talk to your sister all the time. She's really sweet. So, and I said, I'm glad. I did tell her I'm glad that that she keeps encouraging you. Don't listen to them people trying to get you to sell the house, and let y'all keep that neighborhood, keep the neighborhood for sure.
Yeah, that part. That part.
There you go. We'll move on, man, because it's already 8:54 right now. You got a lightning round that you want to jump on, or should we jump into that?
Well, just one last article. Kind of diving in. This is actually a national coverage, looking at what's going on down in Alabama. Again, we often call Nebraska the Mississippi of the Midwest, but sometimes we have to pay attention to what's actually going on in the South. Just this past weekend on Friday, Alabama refused to create a second majority black congressional district, a move that could defy a recent order from the U.S. Supreme Court to give minority voters a greater voice and trigger a renewed battle over the state's political map. With elections coming up, we got to know that voter suppression, gerrymandering, all of these things are still very real, and those efforts will undoubtedly ramp up as we get closer to next year's election. So, yeah, that's happening in Alabama. Again, speaking of the importance of representation and having your voice heard and telling your own story, Yeah, it might be a big fight brewing in Alabama.
Yeah, big time. Well, thank you for everybody that's joined us. If you've been listening this far, we just appreciate everybody that's here, been commenting. We'll jump into a little bit of haps. I think you guys already know what's happening this weekend, but we can jump into it.
What's happening? What's going down?
That's right. It's time to talk about what's going down. It's coming up this weekend, man. There's a lot coming up. As we told you before, this whole list right here starts today. This is July 24th, and a lot of festivities is going on for Native Omaha Day starts today. We all know that there's Maha this weekend. There's Benson Days going on this weekend. There's so many festivals and things going on around town. It's insane. But I'm going to go ahead and start with what's going on at the Benson Theater this Thursday on the July 27th. This is Omaha Days edition of Verbal Gumbo. So now
Man,
Verbal Gumbo is now a annual event. With Love Felicia comes in town and gets back with Michelle Troxler and puts on a crazy good show. Get your tickets early to this at the bensontheater.org website. And get your tickets early because this always sells out. Omaha Days edition of Verbal Gumbo is happening Thursday, July 27th. It's going down. Also on July 27th, we mentioned earlier the ribbon cutting at the Omaha Star. So celebrating 85 years of publishing, and also celebrating the new ownership. That's T.D. Sanders that's going to be there now owning the Omaha Star. This is Thursday, July 27th at 4 p.m. Go out there, get your picture taken, and take some pictures of this historical moment of new ownership back in the hands of a black woman, longest running African American woman founded newspaper in the country, and is now in the hands of a Omaha black woman again. And it's a happy day for that. So that's what's up. Also celebrating 85 years of publishing, longest running. So yeah, join us out there on the 27th. That'll be awesome. Let's see here. Let me let me get you there real quick. Get a little echo talk back. Gospel Fest happening coming up on the day before that, the 26th. So this is in 2 days. The Gospel Fest is happening, featuring Danny Cleveland. Oh, that's all. I don't even need to look at the rest of the names. Danny Cleve in the house. It's going down at the Morning Star Baptist Church, 2019 Burdette Street. Love offering accepted for the Native Omaha Club Incorporated scholarship funds and future events. So they're doing this around, Native Omaha Days, of course. Native Omaha Club Inc. presents the Gospel Fest, and it's featuring a lot of people here. Danny Cleveland, Carol Jean Pierce, Charity Gospel Rapper Zone, New Era Baptist Choir, Salem Spirits in Movement, and Shouts of Praise, Omaha Mass Choir featuring Jay Terrell. Lots of names on this. It's going down. Definitely check them out. Gospel Fest happening on July the 26th. Wanted to start with that one, but I did not do that. I was trying to go in order, but it don't matter. There's so much going on. It really doesn't. Noma is also having something going on. This is the 27th through the 30th. They got a whole roster going on here. Richie Love, of course, son of the legendary Preston Love Sr. Aya Ito is going to be there as well. DJ Ray from Miami, Florida, and Ronnie Beck, who is an Omaha native that went on to do some big things around the area there. The VIP ticket will get you into the. They're also going to be showing the fight there, so the VIP ticket will allow you to stay and watch the fight. Spence Jr. versus Crawford fight that's going to happen over there as well. So definitely check that out. I know that you guys have been telling us about other places that that's going to have the fight. Kimra Snipes was talking about that she's going to have a fight party as well. I forgot where she just said that was going to be at.
fair deal.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, fair deals. That'll work. I've been trying to. I still haven't gotten over there. Hadn't had any food. We need to try that.
Hey,
Yeah.
check him out. I think Mayor Sanchez also said he would be at a spot on 60th and Center. I'm not sure the name of that. If you can drop that in the chat.
60th and Center. Yeah, drop in the chat for us. This is what's going on as far as the Saturday is concerned. The 30th Street Parade is happening. Come honor our legacy, Mr. John Beasley. As you can see, the brothers senators Terrell, McKinney, and Justin Wayne will be out there. I think they're grand marshals for the parade. Also, I see Vicky Young there. She says, "Come connect." So NativeOmahaDays.org. If you need any more information, definitely come check that out. But this is a flyer for the actual parade that's happening from 10 to noon. Before it gets too hot out there, North 30th Street, Lake to Sprague. So definitely check that out, and we'll see you over there at the event as well. Also, I forgot to talk about Divisible that's happening on the 27th as well. If you haven't seen Divisible, we showed it twice over at the Benson Theater, and it was a resounding success. Everybody loves the movie. They think it's going to win some awards, and there's a lot of people in our organizations that have been involved with this. So it's all about defining the red line, and especially when it comes to the redlining that happened in Omaha. Really, really informative film that tells us about why things are like they are with us here and now. Definitely check it out over at the Culture House because they're having another screening over there now, and this is on the 27th from 7 to 9. I highly encourage you to be there and check it out. I'm definitely going to try to make it myself. And so we'll see you over there on the 27th at the Culture House. Culture House gets down. Definitely check them out. Every time I go in there, the place is looking even more upgraded all the time. So really appreciate that very much. Hopefully we'll get over to check out Brother Kasim today. What's going on with the BAA? Shout out to the new brothers, the new members of the force over there. This is what's going on, man. Those brothers are doing some really, really good work. So I definitely will check them out and go see what's happening. One more thing I want to talk about too, my boy. This is my man, my dog, Groovy Grover Lipkins, is doing the Jimi Hendrix tribute band re-experience. He's pretty famous for this all over. As a matter of fact, you talking about a cat that can hit every Jimi Hendrix lick out there. He will take you back with this whole experience right here. Definitely check him out at the Jewel. He's doing 2 sets at 6:30 and 8:30. This is Friday, July the 28th. So my man is back with the Jimi Hendrix tribute band called the Re-Experience. You definitely need to go check this out if you're into Jimi Hendrix at all, because man, he really kind of brings you back on that. So that's what's up. I see you got one more to check out too. That's tonight.
Yeah.
It's happening tonight. The panel discussion, hip hop at 50. Top 5 is going down at the Culture House later on this evening from 5 to 8. Definitely check that. No, I'm sorry. This is July 1st. This is the wrong flyer. So there's another panel discussion that's tonight though over there, right?
Yep. We're actually will be in attendance.
Okay, yep. And I'll be speaking at this one too. Buddy will be hosting. So check us out. I'm sure I think it's at the same time too, right? 5 to
Yep.
8
Yep. Tonight.
tonight at the Culture House. Definitely check us out over there. The first one they had was such a great discussion, man. I don't know if you guys saw the clip of Michelle Trosclair just dropping knowledge all over, just floating around on the internet. They cut it out of her talking about rhyming and MCing and just dropping knowledge, and it was great to see her be able to talk about what she knows, her expertise there for sure. So that's what's up. Miss Erica Fell says, I have my ticket to Divisible. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. That's it for the Haps right now. You can always go to First Sky Omaha, the group page that's Friends of First Sky Omaha, and check out all of those events. Flyers are all over the place with that. Amy H. Dot made some suggestions on us trying to put something together that would make it a little easier for you guys to see the Haps. So we'll work on that. And in the meantime, go to the Friends of First Sky page and check out what it is there. And if you have anything that we need to be checking out too, please post it there, and we'll definitely see that too. So thank you very much for that. In the meantime, between time, it's already 9:03, and so we're gonna go ahead and get out here since we're running late. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Yeah, as always, we appreciate you. Big shout out to Senator McKinney for taking the time to speak with us and give us some insight on some things. And as always, catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. And of course, get out, enjoy the festivities this week. A lot of things going on. Please definitely come out, celebrate the history, the legacy, the heritage of North Omaha with us. But be safe, have fun, and until next time, peace.
That's what's up. Ms. Erica Fell says, great show, great way to start the week. I wish everyone the ability to make a wonderful week, drink water, and be good to yourselves. Appreciate that. Pop says Paul B. Allen Sr. will be one of those honored at the Tribute to Omaha Music Legends. It's going to be a great event with many performances. Have a great week, everybody. Appreciate that, Pops. Got to find the flyer for that. We'll go ahead and post that in Friends of First Sky Omaha. So thank you very much for that. We'll definitely do it. Brooke says she enjoyed the show. Let's see. Miss Erica Fell says that if these children don't wear me out, I'll be at the Culture House tonight.
Hey, check us
All
out.
right. Yeah, love to see that. Thank you, everyone, for all your consideration and all of your comments. Really appreciate that. We want to thank the Umaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. We want to thank our elders for allowing us to speak before them. We want to thank you, the Chad Chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Can't do this without you and your input. Really appreciate everybody's comments today. Shout out to Brother Senator Terrell McKinney for coming on and giving us his time. Shout out to Brother Justin Wayne. Hope you feel better. We'll see you guys next week, and we'll definitely talk to them next Monday as well. Coming up on Wednesday, we're going to have Abby Kretz from the Documenters program come speak with us, and hopefully we'll have Jakeen Fox on to come and talk further about that article that he just dropped and what that's going to mean for the black media. So stay tuned there. It's definitely going to be a good conversation. Whitney Richardson says, great show as usual. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Mr. Mayor Sanchez says, have a blessed day, everyone. Yes, please do that. Really appreciate everybody that's joined us here. We're going to go ahead and get on and let you get on about your day. Stay safe out there. Stay dry. And take it easy. And we'll see you Wednesday. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroad, with the key.
By any means